Welcome to another episode of the Bhandwagon Podcast. And today is a guest who is always online on Instagram, but always conveniently offline whenever I message him or when Liverpool are playing shit. So he is.
That's been the whole season.
Yeah. So it is the one and only Jas Johal from Kudos.
Right.
Welcome, bro.
Yeah, good. You good?
Yeah, how's
the house at 9:30 at night.
Yeah, and also I'm gonna make sure that this is fine. And for that, I'm gonna wear my glasses because it makes me look even more intelligent.
That's it, man.
And then I'm ready for it. How have you been?
Good, man. Just gearing up for the wedding season as always. It's just been a nice bit of break off, but now I just miss it, man. Just want to get back on road.
How do you like? I'll be honest, yeah. Like through various stints of my life, I've been involved in this kind of wedding scene, right?
Yeah.
How do you get yourself motivated to do it? Because it's just so monotonous at some point. Like every kind of, what I mean by that is you kind of, because you got like a well-regulated system, you already know what's going to be there in terms of like the kind of show you're going to put on. You probably already know the kind of audience already there. You've probably even done some of you most likely have done their family stuff and that as well.
Yeah.
But how do you get yourself so motivated to keep doing it again and again and again?
For loads of reasons, man. I think the minute I fall out of love with this, I'll stop. I think every time I say this, every time you feel like, it's not monotonous, but obviously you're doing one after the other, you just do this party and you just think, rah, this is what I'm in it for. Like, forget the production and forget the smoke and the lights, the party. Like, I'm talking just a crowd. When the crowd is there and you're playing for that crowd, it could be like the most simple setup in the world, but the crowd is going for it. That feeling as a DJ, and other DJs will tell you this, it's just something like no other. And I think the minute I stop loving that, I'll give it up, because I think it's not fair on the people that book you, especially in our game. And then also you have to remember your motivation should be that, for us, it's very easy to tick off like, oh, I've got 3 gigs this week or 4 gigs this week or 10 gigs this month. That person, they've been planning this for over a year. It's, some people have been dreaming about this for years, So and for people to phone you and say, oh, Jas, I really want you to do my wedding, they're trusting everything in you, especially for the reception. The DJ is the main thing, like how long ago was your wedding?
2009 I was.
2009, yeah? Like, do you remember what you ate that day?
I do, because I didn't have that much, but I know exactly the same point, because I agree with what you're saying.
The only thing you probably remember is how good the party was.
Yeah.
And that's on your shoulders, isn't it? And I think you got to show up every time, innit? Like, for that bride and groom, you have to, man. And I love it. I love the entrance. I love the hype. I love, like, we have a good time if the crowd's having a good time. And then it just turns into this mad party. And I love it, man. And I think
you just raised something there which I wanted to speak to you about. I'll get back to your history in terms of chronological in a second here, but like, the tradition was like, normally it was a groom side that used to do all the entertainment, and now from when I was involved at the time, it was like full spin. It was like, I think that side of it went away. It's been neglected, man.
What do you mean in terms of what?
So like, how I would say that the bride side would basically kind of take over and say, yeah, this is what I want to do. Give it to the group side. Here's the check, man. Sort of that.
I think it's a process now with the bride and groom, man. I always like to meet my brides and grooms or chat to them and have a WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Nice, isn't it? Because before, it's funny because when you got to remember, I'm 36, but I've been doing this 22 years. When I was 14, I was a roadie. I've seen all the changes, from leisure centers to playing in, part of, like, where it was girl side giving out the food to, the boys side are the only ones that dance, to that kind of vibe.
When waiters came in and changed the game.
Yeah, I'm talking like bottles and tables, Bacardi. I'm Bacardi and famous days started at that era. No, like, vodka was never even heard of at that time. It was Bacardi and Coke. And to give you a kind of other perspective, like long tables and things weren't not unheard of. Those are the days that we started off doing things. years ago, and I've seen the venues that we were at then. Second City Suite was like, yo, you're getting married at Second City Suite. That's big. Like, do you get what I mean? That was, at that point, Bingley was like, wow, you're getting married at Bingley Hall. So I've seen all the changes go, but I think now, bride and grooms, yeah, it's nice to talk to both. Dude, we used to phone the groom on the way, or like phone the groom and say, like, what's your first dance? I just play whatever you want. Like, that's what it was. Play whatever you want.
And now you get shared email addresses.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. jaswinsrange@gmail.com, innit? Yeah. But, it's nice, man. It's nice. I mean, it's nice for the bride to get involved, and it's nice for the bride not to just sit there. It's her day as well, and her night as well. It's fun, man.
So arguably, probably one of the best hype mans that we've got in the scene.
Yes.
I was looking at like your history on like YouTube. I couldn't find an extended interview of you at all. Have you ever given a long form interview to anyone?
Someone interview me? Nah, man. Like, because I'm a big mouth, innit? I don't let other people talk. So,
no, because I was looking at your even when you were doing your BritAsia stuff, which I'll get to.
Yeah.
And then you had the star in the print kind of
yeah, those days, man.
Yeah, so I'll get to that in a bit. But in terms of like your history of getting into DJ, how did you know that was the move for you? What started that off?
You know what? Yeah, my brother's first birthday. My brother's 7 years younger than me. Yeah, and my brother's first birthday, there was a DJ. Let me tell you something. The pioneer of the wedding industry for DJs is a guy called Panjabi. Yeah, Panjabi is one of the original masters of this whole game. He created a lot of this for us, yeah. And he actually used to live opposite me. And his brother was one of my dad's best mates. And he did my brother's first birthday party. And I just thought, yo, this is heavy, like DJing and blah blah whatever. And that was at Carfax Hall in Hayes, like small hall, like old style. Parents used to cook, used to take the food there, and instead of catering or whatever. Then. But yeah, I think just from that, I used to go and watch them load the van. And then from there, I started just crewing. I think I crewed for various road shows, just learned the game. And then from there, obviously I grew up in West London as well. A lot of the big road shows started in West London.
Yeah, so I wanted to know about it because I got fairly comprehensive idea of Midlands and especially around Birmingham. But my knowledge of London was very, very scarce. I hardly knew anything what was going on.
Yeah.
But I also used to get the vibe that in terms of professionalism at that time, in terms of advanced in how people were moving, like you guys were slightly ahead of the game in that way. But it was
in terms of London or in terms of Kudos?
I'd say a little bit of both, but I think Kudos then pushed it, right? I would say that a faster catalyst than what Kudos did, right?
Yeah.
But what I mean is as you were going up and as you were going roading and you're doing all being with different crews.
Yeah.
What was the scene like then in terms of was everyone friendly? Was there competition or what? How?
You know what? It was a lot more fun in terms of you could just be raggo on it. It was like the first thing that someone used to come up to you and say, bro. Especially in Birmingham, you had a gig in Birmingham, like Venue Dudley or something like that. First thing someone used to say to you, yo, bro, what bottle do you want? And they have 2 bottles in their hands. And we'd be like, oh, yeah, that's how it used to be back in the day. Like, you did used to session with the clients. You did used to drink with the client and get mash up. But then you got to remember, like, things were totally different then, man. You weren't responsible for so much kit. And people did, back then it was a lot more raw, innit? People did just come to party. But then you got to remember, it's changed, man. Like, the level of what in every aspect in terms of what we brought to the table, I think in the UK, the Asian roadshow scene has changed a lot worldwide, man. Like we've created a lot of trends worldwide. Yeah, man, it's changed. I do think back in the day was a lot more fun in terms of not being a bit more carefree. But then you got to remember, I wasn't really the boss then. I was just working for someone else, and it always seems that way when they probably had their own problems.
Where did you get your big break then? So obviously you've started doing your part, you like it, you're crewing up because as a roadie,
it's weird, man.
You're understanding.
Everything happened at the right time. Obviously, Kudos happened at the same time when BritAsia was huge. When BritAsia came out, like everyone can admit, it was massive and everyone was excited about it. It gave us a face. We weren't watching ZTV or, you know, like the Sonys. We were watching something and watching people that we relate to, innit? Yeah. So it was like, wow, this is sick. And then H was doing Reloaded at the time, and that just blew up phenomenally. Like at that time, UK Bhangra was at its peak. You had some really big artists coming out of the UK, your Zeus's and Boops, and Aman Haya was huge at the time, and all these people that were contributing to BritAsia, and H's album was big. And what happened? Miss Pooja, obviously superstar, she was equivalent of really what your Dilji is here, innit? Now, like she was the biggest thing then at that wedding. You were playing everything Pooja, innit? So what happened? Jardban's video was getting done, and the presenter, we were doing a behind the scenes thing for BritAsia, and the presenter never turned up. And H was like, "Oh, look, like, why don't you do it? You're right on the mic." I was like, "Yeah, all right, cool. You know me, I'll just jump on and do it." Done it, and it just went mad. And BritAsia used to, I remember Jas Johal and Gurj, a guy called Gurj used to run UK Bhangra Culture. He was the main guy there, and he goes, "Jas, yo, do a show, innit?" So I was like, yeah. So Amma Saran, he's a videographer, owns Make It Real. Amma and H were really good friends, because Amma is originally a London boy. We started Night Shift, but we thought, oh, what's his name? What name could we think of? Come up with Night Shift. And because H was doing all the parties of Reloaded, his diary went crazy. He was everywhere. All your club nights, your chi bars, your this, your that. It was mad, yeah? Gate Crasher back in the day. We were playing everywhere, yeah? And then I used to just go to the clubs. And you know how it used to be back then. Like, it used to be every night. Club Bhangra night was every night somewhere. London, here, there. There was a Bhangra gig on everywhere. Leopard was hit somewhere. This person was somewhere. Jazzy B was somewhere. This person was there. This person was there. It was every night. So I had so much content to film all the time. And what you used to see in that 22 minutes could have been 8 hours of content. And we used to just, obviously, you got to remember back then, there wasn't really social media. No one was pulling their phones out. So you had to be respectful of girls as well. Like, you used to ask them, look, you sure you want to be on this show? Because
yeah, because you must have saw a madness at least a few times. Because I even look back on some of the clips, and when people were drunk, I mean that's an understatement.
Yeah. I used to get it, but people used to message you on Facebook and say, "Oh man, please don't put me on your show. You filmed me last night." And you have to respect that. Someone's sister, innit? At the end of the day, even some guys used to message us that as well. But where it went massive Night Shift is when we went to Punjab. That is when all the audiences, the older lot, the younger lot, everyone was like, bang. And then, bro, at that point, I did see the difference in my kind of reach out into what people knew about who I was, obviously piggybacking of the fact that H had done Reloaded at the time. And it just all kind of fell into place. Kudos came out, this happened, everything happened within 1 year.
So like my recollection was when Kudos came out was just seeing it all over BritAsia. That was one of the big things. So there's a couple of things I want to ask you about that. But the history of Kudos and how it was formed, I don't know the full aspect of that, because it's like it's not, it weren't like base Punjab, their kind of name. It's fresh coming at you, like, what the fuck is this? Because I used to see everywhere, like it went from fucking DJ to hiring cars. It was just it was the same number everywhere. But how did Kudos happen?
It was basically, I remember we used to be part of Caliber, in fact. And I think at that point, we knew that we grew up in the right place. I respected my time at Caliber. Like, we didn't end up in a roadshow that wasn't professional. That was the most professional roadshow at that time. And, you know, I'm grateful that I ended up there. And from there, me and H were like, yo, do you want to do kind of our own thing? And then Rajiv mentioned, like Rajiv's obviously my school friend from like years ago. He's like, yeah, I want to do my own thing as well. And then Haj, Amma and Onka, we were like, yeah, we want to do our own thing. And then we just formed Kudos and made this company. And then from our relationship with BritAsia,
but how did that go down? Because like all of a sudden, it's like a powerhouse. It's like another.
It was mad at the time. We couldn't fill the bookings because that's why the team grew so quickly. There's been so much demand, and obviously because I had the relationship with BritAsia, I kind of had a monopoly on who could kind of other roadshows could advertise. As I said to Jas, I was like, look, we're going to advertise with you. No one's ever done this before, and every roadshow is going to want to advertise, but you know, we want the exclusivity on it. And he said, yeah, you know,
because that was the genius move.
Yeah, yeah,
that was it.
Because obviously BritAsia was huge, bro. Where wasn't it on? Everyone's household, BritAsia. Every Good Eye Express, BritAsia was on. Every pub, BritAsia was on.
It got to a stage where every wedding was almost the same. It was Kudos DJ, Johal catering food.
Yeah, yeah. Johal catering, man.
Seva Jagpal filming.
Yeah. I found a video.
That's it. It was video. Yeah, every kind of like, it was like one or two. You were gonna get 50% of it right either way. Yeah,
it was, man. It was it grew into something very quickly. You got to remember, I was 22 at the time, and we just made this massive company and effectively took over the scene. And like
the thing that I couldn't understand was, and then this is where I would say where that professionalism came in. That you guys came to Midlands and took the piss at that bit because you were kind of dominating the Midlands market, and I was like,
dominating the Midlands market. I'm joking.
No,
that's political, but maybe, I don't know.
You know, because what I was saying,
most of your mates' weddings.
Yeah. I think no. I remember one at like my mate Scunner Essential. He had like a Kudos like booth in the back.
Yeah, we used to leave it there. We used to leave it because exactly. We had so much stuff, so much. Dude, we used to be. I remember one weekend we were at Aston Villa Football Club. We had Bingley day and evening because they used to stop your wedding at 5:30 and do an evening party. We had Second City Suite day and evening. We had, remember Wolverhampton Racecourse?
Yeah.
They used to do weddings. And then we had Bingley, and there was one called Sapphire Suite.
There was Dunstall. You're on about Dunstall.
Dunstall Racecourse, yeah. We had that. We had all the main venues in Birmingham. And then I remember we had about 6-7 vans at Warwick Services. And we all linked up afterwards. And we were like, boy, we just done all the biggest weddings in Birmingham today.
So did you think, so what the point I was getting to is like, did you ever kind of envisage that somebody was going to do an equivalent of what you guys were doing there, but in the Midlands? Or did you bank on the fact that it was logistically too much or egos?
So it just depends. Like, I think where your clientele ends up growing is where you end up forging. So, you know, when you said, go back to a question you said to me, what do you love about, what gives you the motivation?
Yeah.
My motivation still was most of the people I DJ for my friends. Like, or I've become, look at me and you, we became friends through what? The industry. Yeah. We speak about weddings, what's happening, blah, blah, blah. So many of my friends, even like Raju, your mate, he's obviously a lot closer with you, but me and Raju become mates now, where he booked me for his wedding, but then I support his business back because I'm like, oh, you do football tickets.
Yeah.
So I've got a big network and people ask me, I'm like, yeah, oh, he does football tickets. Yeah, call him. And it's just grown that way where you support people back. And I just think that's how our culture is, to be fair. I think our age group, especially, I think we are good at that. We are good at supporting each other.
I also think it's a bit of a dying breed, though, our age group, in terms of like, how we're looking after, like, in terms of that networking and the respect factor. Because
maybe for our age group, I don't think it is. Maybe younger down.
Yeah, because I see you as an older age group than
I'm obviously now mid-30s, and I've seen the changes in just culture, but that's just how people are now. Like, people are very much different in a sense where the younger lot are different from us, but in a good way as well, man. They're smart. These kids are a lot smarter than we were, man. I see it with my younger DJs, and I learn from them. I think the minute you stop respecting that, you fall behind.
Do you think that the younger generation is more for the drive for money rather than the actual product?
Nah. I think you get good and bad. I think they're smarter than us in terms of money, and they've got access to a lot more information than we had at that age, and they're a lot more sharp. You got to remember what we were at 22, 21. We weren't as quick as these kids. Like, they can trade, they can do things online, make businesses. Like my little cousin, when she's through university, she was making money by selling clothes online, like limited editions, trainers and tops and things like that. That age group, we were going out flyering and staying out of our house and promoting gigs and things like that, and going out door to door, having to fly. They don't need to do that now. They've got technology to their hand. You just make a really good Instagram page and your gigs are good. You don't need to stand on the street corners or come outside gate crash at 3 a.m. handing out flyers. I think they're just smarter now because they've used technology.
Do you see, like, you know, when you got the advice of when you've got those youngsters in your team and you're doing I don't know how you kind of like you delegate your work or how you're trying to upskill your DJs. Like, what's some of the key advice that you kind of tell them, especially from the lessons that you learned as a youngster?
I think the main thing to do in our game, is to always remain very humble. In where people are going a little bit wrong, is look, if you want to last in this game, you got to remember, you got to stay grounded, because just if you show people awkward and things like that, you don't last. Like, look at the artists that have lasted, the artists. Like, look at Jazzy B, Look how much respect he shows people on stage. Never shows no one awkward, always shows enough respect, doesn't mind people coming on his stage. Look how long he's lasted, and he's killed it. If you go around showing people attitude, you don't last. Where do you last? Look at all the people that show awkward and this, that. They don't last in the game. They don't get booked.
Mm-hmm.
Half of the charm of booking someone, especially in our Panjabi culture, we're warm people, and someone booked me, funny enough, some guy, older gentleman, he's from Birmingham, in fact. I'm doing his son's wedding in NEC Hilton next year. He booked me, he phoned me, he said, Jazz, I booked you because every time I see you at a wedding, you always say to me, hi, nice to see you again. Like, and I always shake his hand. He said, I respect that you ain't never show awkward. And the thing is as well, you got to remember, people are going to come up to you when you're playing. They are going to want your time. Mm-hmm. You got to show people that time of day. Obviously, you got to be good at what you do as well. That goes without saying. But, like, why do you think Harv got so big so quickly? Most people just want Harv's big smile at their wedding. They just want that because they love him, innit? And people love him to death because who's nicer than Harv? Who's not? He's the nicest guy going. Like,
and a United fan, you can't get better.
He's like, I'm not just saying he's one of my best friends. He's blown up. You got to remember, I've been doing this 22 years. We done Harv's wedding. That's how we know Harv. He booked H for his wedding, became our friend, started playing football with us, and was like, oh, I can do this DJing. I'm into Bhangra. Learned how to DJ, and now, arguably, bro, I'd say Bhangra DJs top five.
Yeah, I mean, I had him on the podcast, and I think one of the things that what came across was I think he was brutal honesty in terms of where his own high expectations and the expectations of others, and how he how he kind of brings that across. I think, but you're in a different position to that, I would say, because of the fact that you've got your own professional kind of standard that you're doing, you're learning, but then you're also managing a massive business as well, and managing ego as a manager in that way, an operations manager. I would say, how do you have? You got big team, big personality, you got egos within them. How do you manage that yourself? Because you wouldn't have learned that as a roadie. You'd learn that as a C as a
so I think the good thing about our team is, look, everyone, it's like a football team, innit? Like, everyone wants to be on the starting 11. If there's 5 gigs and 11 DJs, obviously you want to go out and play, But look, you got to remember, we never stop anyone from branding themselves. You ever see at a Kudos gig, you might see Kudos and DJ H, you might see Kudos and AJD, but you'll see both brandings there, and both are synonymous with each other, So I'm happy for the boys to have their own brands, deliver their own brands, do what you got to do, have your own identity. Cristiano Ronaldo has his own CR7, but then still plays for whoever he plays for. Have your own 2 brands, build your own character. There's going to be life after Kudos for these people, but for me, this is what I do, innit? But managing the egos, I think one thing about our team, you got to remember, bro, without sounding arrogant at all, every single DJ within the wedding industry, I would say 60% have asked me if they can join. Maybe 70, And sometimes the reason I don't take people on is one is because sometimes I just can't, I'll quite honest with them and say, look, you're probably better off doing what you're doing because I can't give you the work to fill your diary, and I don't want you resenting me afterwards. And secondly, is that the equilibrium of how people are. Like, you know, when we're all together or in chatting in the WhatsApp group, there's no like, there are your stronger personalities. You remember people like Rajiv B. Rajiv's a strong personality. Like, you know, AJ's got a strong personality. H has got a strong. I got a strong personality. But then you got some people that are way more mellow. Like, you know, Harv's really mellow. Manny's really mellow. Kabir's really mellow. Little Aman's mellow. Big Aman's like proper strong personality. But it's just a good equilibrium before us. You remember in our office, Monday to Friday, people don't realize that in our office, me, H, Chunks, Kabir, Manny, Aman, we all work here Monday to Friday, doing our with our team here. We're Monday to Friday. We run an AV business as well. So we're together all the time. We play football together. It's good to have that team spirit, and I think that starts from the top. Like, if your attitude is poor from the top, it's going to go through your whole team, innit? How I conduct myself at gigs is going to go through the rest of my team, innit?
And was that something that was there an occasion or an event or incident or anything where you had to kind of adapt your skills? And the reason why I'm pressing you more on this is because as you're seeing a lot of new DJs coming onto the market, there's a lot more money that's around there and disposable income that comes through. And so you're seeing a lot DJs hitting 5-6 figures now yearly, and and that humbleness sometimes goes away because of the cash that's there, the money that's involved in that industry. Was there a point where you had to kind of almost check yourself as well?
Yeah, I think look, the thing is, in our game, it is a bit of a flashy game, innit? Like, people booking a DJ or a personality, or they want someone well dressed, they want someone that's cool. Like, unfortunately, that's the world we live in, man. We live in a social media age, innit? Your image is everything. I see DJs out there that can't mix 2 tracks, but they're just playing out on image. Like, you're out doing a job and you can't do the basics of the job, and that's where you're out doing that. But then I see people, but then people book them, like, because based on image. That's the world we live in, bro. I think people want to see, I don't know how to put it, man. Like, people like that lifestyle. It's a bit of a glitz and glamour lifestyle, isn't it? People think it is. It's not necessarily is all the time, because obviously there's a lot of work behind it as well. And I don't think people should get fooled by the money. Yeah, the spends are big, like what people are investing into their weddings. But you got to remember, man, at the moment, there's a lot of culture. What we paid for a van and staff and fuel 10 years ago is different now, isn't it? Like, there's still a lot of culture with things. And the setups are bigger, man. A lot of investment into them now. People are investing a lot of money into setups now.
Yeah, because I was thinking about this. I was like, I couldn't, if I was going to do my DJs, I couldn't afford my own wedding again. You know what I mean? Because like the price and how much the costings have gone up and stuff like that. Was there ever a time where, like, collectively, I know there was discussions at one stage, especially through COVID, where there was a lot of people's lives and suppliers and then jobs were at risk at that time because people hadn't had anything for a couple of years at that point. Was there anything at that time which made you reassess in terms of, like, do I want to continue to do this? Shall I invest my time in AV, or shall I just
So I never really wanted to ever give up on this, but you got to remember, bro, Kudos is, I think, the misconception why we now even honing on it a little bit more, misconception about Kudos, that it's just a DJ AV company. We're a production company as well, in a sense. We build and we got a workshop here, and we print for massive printers. We were supporting the NHS and companies. Remember, we were doing print.
Yeah. We had a chat then as well.
Yeah, the amount of signage that we were doing for 2 meters stickers and signage boards and this, that. You know, we survived through that. And one thing I'm very proud to say is that we never knocked no one any money. Like, we did have deposits for people. It was hard giving their money back at the time, but we never ever knocked anyone a penny, because I always thought I never want my dad to be sitting in the pub and someone say, "Oh, you're Jas Johal's dad. He knocked my cousin or knocked my son for $2,000 deposit from his wedding." Never wanted that.
There was a lot of that, though. There was a lot of that. There was a lot of that going on.
Loads, bro. But you tell me where anyone can come around and say we did that 21. They can't. They can't say that. And we worked hard to make sure that didn't happen. Especially for my boy's sake. I never imagine Manny's playing at a gig or Paul's playing at a gig and someone comes up to him and says, "Oh, you're Kudos, yeah, you lot not my cousin." And they're, 10 glasses in and with 20 of their cousins. I don't want to put my boys at risk like that. It can happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it, like customers and other people, they don't see that other side of it, do they, at all, in terms of where...
I think one thing that we have to be grateful for, and everyone has to be grateful for in this industry, is the lifestyle it gives you in terms of not the money, in terms of the fun and network you make. Like I get to come and enjoy some of the most memorable days with people, and sometimes a lot of the crowds are my mates. And it's fun, man. Like it's given me a lot of good experiences in my life. Like I've been around the whole world, sometimes with clients that are my mates. And it's fun, man. It's good time. Like, when, let's say you phone me or like someone says, "Oh, bro, I'm getting married." And I'm like, "Yeah, wicked. I'd love to be your DJ." It's
a lot of this in terms of for other people's enjoyment might be a sacrifice for yourself. Like you've been on the road when you're saying like from 14, like at what personal cost did it have for you in terms of like family? Because I know I couldn't hack it. Yeah. When I was a totally in that, I got to stage where all my exams and stuff was like happening there, or I got family duties are coming up too much. How do you balance that?
I think, look, the people you work with, like the door players that I have at my gigs are my mates. Yeah, I used to, but obviously there is sometimes you sit there and everyone's sitting at a barbecue with all your boys that you've grown up in school with, and you're standing there about to do first dance. You do feel it, yeah? Don't get me wrong. Trust me, you feel it. Or all your cousins are linked up at someone's house, or they're FaceTiming you because they're all having a good time there, and you're at a wedding DJing. Yes, you do feel it. But, bro, I drop my daughter to school every day. I pick my daughter up from school every day. And when I drop my daughter off to school, I'm probably the only dad that's not in a rush. I'm not kicking her out of the car and running her to the door, and we're laughing and joking. And you know what? I think since I've had kids, I've respected my work even more. That, fair enough, the weekends I'm sometimes away, but I give my kids a lot of time.
Are you a lot more pickier than now what you do than on the weekend because of that?
Say that again, bro.
So are you more pickier in terms of what kind of gigs you do on a weekend because
you yeah. But I think, I don't know, man. Like, bro, if I'm honest with you, most of my diary is in Birmingham. Like every week, I'm probably playing in Birmingham. I'm not even joking. Like my gigs, a lot of my clientele, loads of gigs are just people that have been booking me for years. And like, you'll say, "Jas, book this date and book this date and book this date," and it just grows through that. So I'm always up that way. I mean, you do give up that time. But then, bro, if you're off on a weekend or you're off during the week, you've got that flexibility in life.
Yeah.
And I think now more and more I'm seeing it.
I'm gonna ask an offensive question, which also is offensive to me as well, which is we're coming into an era for the first time, especially in the Panjabi DJ era in the UK, of a lot more older DJs coming onto the scene at the same time. So
say that again.
So we've never had like 40-year-old DJs or 40-plus-year-old DJs in mass being on the scene at the same time. You would always have one or two. It was always a young person's game.
I'll tell you what that is, and I'll tell you, it's not the DJs. The DJs are skilled, yeah. I've got a lot of young DJs. I've got Aman, Haj Batharu, Harvey, Itch. Who else have I got? Kabir's a bit older now. I've got all these young boys. Sorry if I've forgotten anyone. It's not potential. But all the younger lot, I think I'm very blessed that my lot are confident. But I think because life has your phone has taken away, when you meet someone and just start chatting to them.
Yeah.
I love that. Like even when we were on our honeymoon, we had this water villa, and this water villa was like a private pool and this, that. Bro, I put my toe in that pool once. I was like, forget this is boring. Let's go to the main pool. Let's go to the pool, chat to people, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And I think what's happened with social media, like, bro, I hate texting. I love picking up the phone and saying, "What's happening?"
Really?
But the younger lot, they don't like phoning. They like texting. And I think the point I'm going to eventually get to is reason that I think that our age group has stayed in the market so long is because we're confident on the mic. And we're able to host the gig confidently. There's loads of good DJs out there. Obviously, DJing has become a lot easier than we started. The program mixes it for you pretty much now anyway. A lot of DJs are not, you watch these TikTok DJs, they can't even mix. So some DJs go out and play full pre-mix sets. But it's the hosting. Like you got to look, Boops, yeah? He's a host. He can host, yeah? H, he's a host. Jags Climax, he can host. He stayed in the game for that long. Like these people are good on the mic. They can create, like anyone can DJ a party where everyone's willing to dance. But the parties that people ain't willing to dance and you can turn that into a party, that's when you're a sick DJ. And one thing I would say is the hosting is the reason I think a lot of people stayed around for a long time.
So is that the difference between when someone says like a DJ and a selector and a host mic, all different?
So let me tell you, I think that we're more than DJs. We're entertainers, man. Bro, you got to remember, a DJ in a club, it's easy, innit? People don't respect Asian wedding DJs across the board, yeah? And this is all of us, yeah? Think how many genres we have to be specialists in. Think how many mix of weddings there are now, yeah? You got an English guy marrying an Indian girl. You got a Gujarati marrying a Panjabi. You got this marrying a that, yeah? I done a Punjabi girl marrying a Nigerian guy. So I had to mix between Afro beats and Bhangra music and English music, normal pop music the whole night. But it's how you balance the crowd, yeah? Like, I had a Tamil wedding marrying a Gujarati. They got their own musics that they want to do. Now, you got to remember, we need to know, yeah, all the English music, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, the new stuff, hip-hop, garage, how many subgenres are within everything. Then you got Bhangra. Look how many subgenres in Bhangra. Desi, your old school 90s Bhangra, UK, your Desi new, like Karan Ojala Moose style of Bhangra, the Gidda music, all that. There's so many different types of music and eras that there are to know it properly. And then you got Bollywood, old Bollywood, new Bollywood, this, that. And there's so many different genres of music that Indian roadshow wedding DJs know. You got to put your hats off to them, man. Like anyone can go to Gatecrasher or whatever clubs they are now, they're called, and play an hour set and play the same music that the geezer before you did. But when you got a crowd and you got to entertain them for 4 hours and not keep on repeating the same songs and take them on a proper journey, that's skill. And a lot across the board, there's a lot of good DJs in our industry, man.
So how do you keep yourself relevant then in terms of like listening to the new music?
I think that's because what I do, I love music, innit? Like I've always loved music, and you got to remember, like I said, we all work in the same office. So I got Aman in my office. I got Kabir in my office, and they're the younger lot kind of, and we're all exchanging tracks all the time, innit? Oh, that's a sick track. Where'd you get that mix from? Where'd you get this from? Blah, blah, blah. And we're exchanging music all the time. So yeah, man, you have to learn off the younger lot. So like, what they know and what we know are two different specialities. So they'll come with me to a gig and see, oh, yo, Jas can do this, Jas can do that, Jas can host like this. I can stop a party confidently and talk to 600 people and get the party going, no problems. But this DJ can remix, like Sam, like DJ Sam who plays for us, bro, you can mix 5 tracks in a minute and the guy's so super quick and you think, wow. So you learn off each other, innit?
So what's one of your biggest fears then for the two questions? One of your biggest fears for the wedding industry, and the second one is what's your biggest fear for the Punjabi music scene in the UK?
The music in the wedding industry, I got no fears for. I think we all love a party, man. We're Punjabis, man. People said after COVID, watch, people are not going to want to get married anymore. Bro, people want to party, man. It was like I was doing secret parties in loads of places because people went to the party. I got videos. It's so funny. I did a party with Shinda, yeah. Me and Shinda got booked. It's actually in Birmingham. I can't remember the name of the venue, yeah.
I know it.
You know the party I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Bro, it was madness. People was dancing on the table. You had to stand at your table, innit, and dance. Bro, it was a madness. And I was cracking up because I was like, it's in our blood, bro, to party. We
What I
love
mean,
it.
yeah,
You put on a Dolby and 2 glasses LA, and we want to party, bro.
no,
Like,
what I kind of mean as what meant on that kind of angle was that, you know how, like, if you looked at 100% of a
just cut
Punjabi.
out. I can't
Oh,
hear
can
you.
you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, go on, say that again.
Yeah. What I meant was, like, the future of a Punjabi, the UK Punjabi one is like where people used to do a wedding, and let's say it was 100% Punjabi music. Then you see the percentages start to increase of like a lot more kind of
English
dance music and English music going in there. Like eventually, like because of the taste and what the next gen are kind of switching off from Punjabi music. Like, I would say, would you say this? Would you say this then? Would you say at least 60-70% of the playlist that you play of UK Punjabi is more than 20 years old, 15 to 20 years old?
Yeah. It could be.
And that's what I'm saying, because that's going to increase. That's always.
Bro, that's the same with English music. It's not just our music. Look at, tell me the last biggest English track you know.
I'm a bit of a shit geezer like this.
But anything, what's the biggest track?
Ed Sheeran, or like.
No, I've got a party track that you listen to.
Track.
What's big at the moment? What, Burna Boy? Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't name it. I couldn't say anything.
Let's say
I
Boy,
trust you. Yeah, I trust you.
Even English music the same. Music is a fast. You can't compare music to 10. You know when an album came out? Let's say when Reloaded come out. Yeah. Hate spent time on it. It was a CD. It physically came in your like. I was gonna say come in your hand. Yeah. You held it in your hand. You store the CD, you listen to the CD in your car. That was the only thing you listened to. Now you got Spotify, you got music to your disposal. It's making the playlist for you. You're not listening to that song again and again and again, unless you really like that track. You got so much playlists and music, but English music's the same. It's disposable now. Yeah. It's like, even now, you look at our English set, let's say I'm doing an English party, I'm still playing the old music. You're still playing 90s R&B. People come up to me, oh, I really want that history set. Still play that history set. Yeah, you're playing the newer stuff. But what newer stuff are you really playing? What can you dance to that's new? Even with Punjabi music, what can you really dance to? Besides Diljit stuff, no one's really making dance music anymore that you can party to. Yeah. It's all quite hip-hoppy. But the same is with commercial music. It's the same. It's all very...
No, that's fine. It was just my,
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, people have said that to me. I do agree. Like, I do miss the Happy Bhangra that used to come out of the UK. Bro, I miss the and Hairs, you know, the music that he used to put out, the Tarti Hildis and all that, yeah? Like Zeus, look how many bangers Zeus had. Even like that era of music was sick. Like PBN, man, look how many bangers PBN had.
Yeah.
Ajmepinia, you play it now, that Dolby is like, no. Just that Dolby at the start, you know when it's coming in, and it's just something about that era of music. Even Javani, looks at Javani, H's Javani, it's an evergreen Bhangra song. Darshan, evergreen Bhangra song. These are songs that you play at every wedding. That are still, look at that yard bolda, bro. Still one of the biggest bangers.
Is it, I think I asked half the question, and it like fights at a wedding. What is there ever? He was talking about the Ramada, which was...
Oh yeah, the one that H had, man. Bro, we had the papers, everything called in our office. So fights at a wedding, I think now people are a lot more selective with their since COVID, to be fair, people are a lot more selective with their guest list.
Yeah.
Like you gotta think here. When was the last wedding you went to? There was 800 people. None.
You know, I'll be honest, I haven't been to a wedding in ages, man. I think Raju's wedding was my last wedding.
But even his wedding, how many bande that guy knows? It was probably about 400 people.
Yeah.
I think that he's a popular guy. Yeah, the guy knows a lot of people, and even like when you think about it, you don't call every other person anymore, bro. I used to do weddings at Bingley Hall. I remember I done Joel Catering. Obviously, they're my friends. I done Sharon's wedding. Two big families, obviously, because Chatters and Joe has met. Well, 1,600 people. People came up to me a couple of weeks later. Oh, I saw you at Sharon's wedding. I was like, were you even there? They're like, yeah, I was thinking, bruv, how are you gonna get around 1,600 people
Yeah,
out of it?
Bingley was crazy because when you used to go in there, the biggest thing that I used to realize was like, because it used to be an old bus station,
Yeah.
Bingley Hall, and like I used to think you could play football in here quite easy. There could be a wedding on one side, you can play five-a-side on the
Or
other.
the other. Yeah, bro, your sound used to disappear. Like you used to get other venues, people say turn it down, and there you're thinking, blood, yo, I need to put some extra speakers. Like,
Are those the elements that you miss then in terms of what it is now?
yeah, I do. I mean, I tell you what I hate about. Oh man, someone phones me, says I'm getting married at this manor house and it's got a sound limit of 97 dB. I'm like, yo, count me out, man. That is my thing. It's like our sound limiters, I hate them because I just think you can't perform to what you know you're capable of. You're literally the whole time your eyes on this traffic light thing going up and down. It cuts out and you look like an idiot. Or you got the whole time people coming up to you saying, "Oh, bro, turn your music up." And that's what I mean. That's what I do miss. Like back in the day, you had venues, man. You could go in there and thump some beat in it. That's what you did, isn't it?
I remember once I was with when I was with Upbringing, we did playing a tour with him in it back in the day, and we went to Wolverhampton Molyneux Centre. They used to have it next to the stadium.
Oh yeah,
and I think it was a Husnadi Sarkar, like it was Jazzy B, and it was like it's like a jungle beat. I don't know what it was, and he had some bass spins. He put it so loud, one of the roof panel, the glass, the wedding went, and it just dropped down and smashed all on the floor.
Oh.
And I was like, this was dangerous, man. You know, I understood why they bought it.
Those days, man. Yeah.
Those days.
You know what? I'll be honest. Life has changed, isn't it? Times have changed. People are very much about having the Instagram wedding, which is great for me, isn't it? Great for business.
It's all about the clout.
It's our fault. It's our fault.
Yeah. Well, to a point. Do you have any? I know you kind of released another track recently. Is this the new thing you're gonna go into, that more on production side again?
I think mainly I do like different music. I think now, let's be real, it's a lot easier to produce, isn't it? Like being a producer in 15 years ago, you used to have to. Now you can produce things on your just DJ Serato live. Like it's not
especially
hard.
with AI in that now.
Yeah, it's not hard. And to be honest with you, like most of the stuff that I'm putting out there is my ideas, but I'm not producing it. I'll be very honest about that. Like I've got like RV helping me, and he produces music. That's his thing. But and a couple of guys from India that can help me here and there. But yeah, it's my ideas. It's just what I can express and put out there, man. I'm not doing it for bookings because I got enough bookings. It's just more for, I think, my own personal fun, really. Harv was the actual reason I've had all those tracks. Yeah, that guy, he released them all on Spotify. So I'm gonna release all these tracks. I said, bro, allow it. And then one day he just messaged me. That's what all the bloody covers. There's one cover. Yeah, I'm gonna kill him. He's put like a little cat, a kitten as the. If you actually look who my owner of the old music is, this is DJ Harv on the bottom of Spotify, because he uploaded everything. He's like, I've done it. And then he put this bloody stupid Billy on one of the covers of the thing. But yeah, that's him.
He's a big killer. So, like, in terms of what the future looks like for you, then how would you kind of best describe it?
I think, look, main thing for us is if you keep on concentrating on your customers, we want to keep innovating and changing up the game. Yeah, like obviously we can't sit there and say, oh, we're the market leader, and then you don't lead. Like, you got to do it, innit? Like, if you're going to talk a big game and say, yeah, we're Kudos, we're this, we're that, look, you got to remember, yeah, everything we see in the wedding industry, I'll openly say it, is H's ideas. Like, H is, fair enough, he's part of Kudos, and Kudos brought these ideas out, but you look at majority of the things that you see at weddings today, and people's whole businesses exist because of things H introduced into the wedding market. Like, you're talking LED dance floor. The guy who owns it, the company called Grumpy Joe's, yeah? Me and H bought that when we were 22 years old. 22 grand, but I had no money. I just come out of university, I was brass, yeah? He's like, bro, let's do this. I borrowed 11 grand off my mum and dad. LED dance floors. For how many years did you see LED dance floors all of a sudden blow up?
It's still there.
That company, Grumpy Joe's, He turned over, he was going bankrupt. We bought them. He turned over £1 million after we bought those things. That's the power of the brand at that point, yeah? LED screen. We went and bought LED screen. Overhead lighting at parties. Print on dance floors. You know, the list keeps going on and on and on. These are all ideas that, if I'm honest, stem from H. Like a lot of the setups, bro, we'll do a setup one week and you'll get a roadshow copy the week after.
What do you think?
You see Harv posting on it and cussing everyone, and he's like, "Bro, this is a fucking copy that's set up," and I'm like, "Bro, allow it." And he's like, "Nah, allow it." And it's so funny because you know what, we get caught up in it as well because it is annoying. Don't get me wrong, bro. It's like you put all this effort into something, you create this thing, and then not only does a person copy it a week later, they've done it for half the price as well. If you put a post out on Instagram,
if you follow it on Instagram, because I'm constantly complaining about seeing the same shit every weekend. If you can map it, if you got like a map that you say, "Oh, this design was here," and then you can see it being repeated.
Bro. It's like, who's gonna copy it first? But you know what? Yes, you moan about it, but then I say to the boys, "Look, man, we're not copying no one else, innit? So don't worry about it. The minute we copy other people, then we got a problem, innit?"
Here's one, and everyone's gonna. I don't know if you got the answer to this. What's the next evolution of the one big screen at the back? What's after that?
I don't know, man. I think the thing is, at the moment, the flexibility that an LED screen gives you is you can put whatever you want on it. That's the thing. Because you can put content on it, you can put your pictures on it, you can put your logos on it, you can put whatever your heart desires goes on that screen. You look at every main concert, yeah? Now go from, let's say, Drake concert or Chris Brown concert or whatever, yeah? You look at that, what have they all got at the back? A big LED screen. Why? Because it's all content now. It's all content driven. And that's what is big at the moment. So it's hard to know, man. Like, you can be creative with setups. I think it's taken a bit of a 360, if I'm very honest, because what I've noticed now is the setup's got changed, the setup's got changed, the setup's got changed, the setup's got changed. They've got to a point now where you've got pretty similar format, LED screen, dance floor, big light show, changed in different formats. But I think now people are valuing what I always say to everybody when people say, "Oh, but bro, like, oh, you're charging this much, but you know, this DJ is charging that." And I say, "Yeah, but what's going to come out of your speakers and how the guy's going to host it, you can't compare the two, innit? Like, I know how good I am, innit? Like, bro, I'll openly say it. Technically, as a DJ, fine. There's probably people way above me. You got like DJ Dips, technically bad boy DJ. Like Rajiv. One of the. He's an animal on the decks, yeah. RV. These like my own team, obviously, are amazing as well. But you got so many DJs that are technically sick. I'm not as good as that, but on a host level and music knowledge wise, I don't think there's a lot of people that can stand up against me in terms of creating a vibe and hype, and that's my selling point. But I say to people, but you're not going to get that from me, innit? You're not going to get that from that DJ.
Did you start all the hey?
Bro, of course I did, man. Come on, geezer. I've seen people's stories. And the worst thing is, I go to my missus, I go, "Why are they screaming like that? Do I sound like that? Why are they screaming like that?" That's just
what did she honestly
everybody
say?
out there, listen, that is just my voice. That's how I mic it. That's how I talk. Stop screaming, man. It's bait.
What about the other one? So, like, at the moment, the current one is energy in it. Everyone's energy.
Oh, bro. Geezer, the worst thing is, yeah, what winds me up, yeah? So Chunk's done that thing where everyone gets down on one knee, yeah? To that bloody Freed from Desire, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Other people do it, like with chess, like, yeah, we're sick, bro. Look at what we just done. And I think, geezer, you copied us. What are you talking about?
What's the next tagline? We got we got energy. What's the next one?
You'll see it on everyone else's story feed anyway. Don't worry, man. You can even that's a bait is gone.
You should have trademarked that.
Nah, it's all right. You know what? I'm only joking. To be fair, look, I'm actually humbled that but obviously I see people copy me in it. Like I'm not under any I'm not delusional about it that people. But then I probably learned from someone like, bro. I learned from Gulu, from Sting. Like I learned from Jatty, he used to be part of Caliber. I learned from Panjabi. I used to watch his videos and think, yo, and I built my confidence using their taglines. And And then I developed my own style. And you know what? Younger DJs can do that by...
It's a rite of path, isn't it?
Bro, yeah, man. Like, actually, it's nice. It's a nice thing. I'm only messing around about the whole, stop copying me. Like, it is what it is, isn't it? Like, but I'd rather, like I said, I'd rather be copied than copy someone else, isn't it?
Easy. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep for you.
Yeah, bruv. And I'd rather know how to mix than not mix, isn't it? I don't think anything about that. Let's not get into that.
Get little digs in all you can. So in terms of like your TV, is there any other kind of areas of where you're kind of concentrating on as well? Like in terms of, you got your bread and butter, what you're doing, you're working there Monday to Friday. I saw you doing scooters at one stage, and then you do...
That was just COVID, man. That was just to keep busy, innit?
I know, but I'm just saying, is there any... Do you ever see your exit strategy as well?
I think I'm in it now, man. I'm in the game, innit? Like, I enjoy it. If I fall out of love with it, I'll come out of it. I think you have to be in love with this business, because if you're in events, you got to be ready for the late nights. You got to be ready to give up the family time on the weekend. You got to be ready to give that up for other people's special occasions. If you're not willing to do that, then you shouldn't be in this game. You can't be in this game just for the money. I love putting, actually, funny you say that, yeah? And I know a lot of people in the industry do, and a lot of people take pride in what they do as well. Like, you got your USRs, you got your Infinitives, people like that. They probably have the same pride, have the same pride in when they've done a 48-hour, sometimes Niku posts have done 48 hours or, without sleep and this and that. That's not a joke, like you're giving up that family time. But the moment your bride and groom walk in and their face lights up, that's nice for you to feel that. Forget the money for a minute. It's a really nice feeling. And the next day when you wake up to a really nice text message from a bride and groom buzzing, that is gives you a lot of job satisfaction.
You know what it is? I got like I've got a personal view on this. I think it's absolutely. I worry for DJs.
What do you mean?
Because from my work is like within public health, right?
Yeah.
So it's you're looking at health well-being. You're looking at levels of sleep deprivation that people are doing, performing. You're looking at addictions that people have got within the game, mainly coke or with alcohol. You got decision making based on that, driving the equipment, all these kind of things, right? And I can't see, the aftercare, the health and well-being. I lost a mate of mine about 2 months ago now, probably 6 weeks ago, and he was like an original door player for Natural Sounds. He had his complications in life and stuff. These people, he made a lot of people a lot of money from doing what it was. There was no aftercare that he got. His leaving present was addiction. What's your opinion on that?
So I think, look, our outfit is very different from everyone, yeah? And people go around and they say things like, oh, how comes other roaches say this against us, yeah? Why are you $2,000 more expensive? Now, it's not, and other roaches will say, oh, Kudos got so many overheads. They got this big unit, they got this, they got that, they got overheads. We haven't got these overheads. No, it's not that. Dude, I come to your wedding, I come to your wedding to DJ. I'm the DJ for your wedding. I've come there fresh. All your music's prepared, my mind is clear, and the next 7 hours, 6 to 7 hours, I'm gonna go for it. Yeah, you've seen my videos online, yeah? Look how much energy I exert throughout my whole party. Like, brother, my mic doesn't leave my hand. I'm DJing, next track, bang, bang, bang. Sometimes my Fitbit is going like because I'm exerting so much energy, yeah? Now, I don't go set up the rig. I don't pack the rig away. I don't prep the kit at the unit, and I don't unload the vans. Because my job is to come and DJ your party and give you an amazing experience. But with that comes cost, because I'm not the labor now. I'm not driving the van. Yeah, I go to my gigs, I go with a driver, because, bro, I can't do Friday, drive home, drive to Birmingham up the M40, do another gig, Prestige Suite, let's say, and then Sunday, do another gig and be fresh, driving this and that, doing all these hours, and not being able to perform for your big day. And I say this to people, I say, look, I come and I DJ. I don't come set up the van, load your rig, this, that. By the time you've loaded all that equipment the night before or that morning, set all that equipment up, by the time you come, firstly, you're sweaty and shagged and you're putting, I used to do it, man, when we started, but our rigs were not simple then. You set up in the middle of summer, it's piping hot, and then I'm in Supreme Suite. Where am I going to go and have a shower? So what do? I just, all my clean cup I just put on, but really I'm all sticky and, you know, chip and nasty.
So what I mean, like, do you...
No, but let me finish. What I'm going to get to my point, is that lifestyle can be, oh, let's pack away and have a session. While we're packing away, let's have a glassy. Then let's end up here. Then people do end up. The problem is now there's a lot more drugs mixed into it. I've seen it. You know, where we had this conversation earlier and I said, people come up to you, say, you want a glassy? People come up to you now, say, Bob, do you want a line? Normally, it's a normal thing.
Yeah.
It's not just here, bro. It's in India, everywhere. I was in Delhi doing a wedding recently. Normally, people come up to say, Bob, do you want a line? It's everywhere. Drugs are everywhere. I think you're in the health
game
industry, bro. It's normal now. It is a normal thing, and people come up to you, and if you're headstrong enough to say, look, bro, I don't drink at my gigs. Reason I don't drink at my gigs is for two reasons. One, you can turn into alcoholic if you slowly slip into that ice session every gig, because then you can't do a party sober. Secondly, bro, you don't realize until the bride and groom see their video at that wedding, you think you're doing the best job ever. But you don't know if your mixes are out or you say the wrong thing on the mic that could offend a lot of people. Bro, I do drink at parties sometimes, like Dow's wedding, for instance, Beats by Lion. But that's one of my boys, isn't it? I know that everyone there, I'm in a safe space. They're all my friends. There, you're by yourself with two lads. You don't know what you could say the wrong thing on the mic.
Do you worry about where it's probably more going towards is like, do you worry about other people in terms of trying to keep up, that they have to do that? Because the competition could be so fierce, like how people undercut prices, people are trying to compete with the best, that it comes at a cost in it. And sometimes it's at the expense of their health.
Yeah, 100%. I say this to people. I say, you're kidding yourself. Like you look at, sometimes people want to do things just to show they're busy. And this whole thing that, oh, I'm so busy, I'm doing 10 gigs. But yeah, really, that's amazing. I'd rather do 2 gigs and spend the whole week with my family. But I know.
Do you think you're maturing because of that? Like you've made that mistake earlier on in your career, but now you got your family.
Not really, bro. We've been, you know who actually taught me this lesson was H. Bro, you got to remember, we are charging, H used to charge $3,000 14 years ago for a basic show, 2 projectors and a DJ booth 14 years ago. He goes, bro, that's what I want to charge. And he was busy. People are charging that same money, putting up LED screen, 12 heads, this, that. That's up to you. That's cool. You do that thing. You do that. If that's what you want to do, there's a price point for you. That's your price point. I can't cuss you and say, why are you charging that much money? Because that's up to you, innit? But I know that Kudos, firstly, as a brand. Secondly, what we deliver as a product. And like I said, the main thing that we sell on, people might have this conception it's the setups, but it's not. It's actually the DJ you're getting. Look at actually our team. Look at the team we got across the board, yeah? You got myself, H, AJ, Harv, Rajiv, Arvi, Itch, Aman, Little Aman, Kabir. We got such a sick team of DJs. I just think that is where the talent lies, man, and people are noticing that now. Can you rock a party? That's the main thing.
Okay. Coming up to my last questions. Star in the pinned.
You miss me. You miss it, innit?
Bro, where's the t-shirt?
I'll bring it back, bro. I'll bring it back. Star in the pinned. That was massive.
You did merch before merch was a thing.
No, bro, I started this thing. I told you, but everyone just copies us. No, I'm joking. That was actually our idea. We had loads, you know that we had. I'm trying
to give you bare pump in here. Just so
I know, man. I know. I'm gonna get a big head, man. We'll see. Now, we had loads, man. When we had head, shoulders, knees, and toes come out, we done Said Monday, good day, pair. We had Star in the Bin, when that come out. We had Are You Gonna Bang Doll, when Are You Gonna Bang Doll came out. What else did we have? We had
Katapa's doing that now, isn't it?
what's that?
You know, all those kind of dodgy kind of t-shirts as well.
He's a funny guy, man.
He's a killer.
But you know what? To be honest, in those days, loads of people say to me now, "Oh, but bring Night Shift back." Yeah, I would like to go on TV again or some form of media again. Maybe that is my exit plan one day, to come out of this when I'm not so responsible.
Yeah, you know, during COVID, like your shows that you're putting on there, I really enjoyed them.
Yeah, it was good, man. It was good. It's professional as well.
Yeah, 100%.
It was a good show. That was live as well, man. That whole thing. There was no editing to it. It was a full live show. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know, man. I just think I'm just I think COVID taught us a lot, innit? We used to talk a lot in COVID anyway, but I think COVID taught us a lot just to be appreciative of things, man. You got to respect the life we got now. Before COVID, we wanted to take over the whole world. But now, bro, I'm content, man. I'm enjoying it. I know I'm blessed to sit in front of this name. I've made some sick friends like in this industry, and I want it to grow, man. I want people to make money out of it. I want people to flourish here. I want people to become more professional, because the thing is, look, yeah, Gorde still look at us. I'm in the corporate market, and Gorde still look at us as Indian companies. They're Indian companies. And we are, oh, you know, Gorde do it properly. Go to a proper Gorde company. What's that all about? What do you mean go to a proper, you know, brother, how many people have you heard say that expression? Oh, you know, they're a proper Gorde company.
It was to the point that if you're booking a venue and you get a price, and then they go, it's an Indian wedding, and then it's double the price, yet it's still not, we're still classed as substandard suppliers.
Yeah, but it's our own fault. Bro, it's our own fault. Like, we give the excuse out ourselves. In this industry, if we went into places, staff job correctly, don't get pissed at jobs, deliver the proper things, do everything correctly, then yeah, people will take us more seriously. What winds me up is when people say, oh, you know, they're a proper Gorde company. I'm like, bro, a company's a company, innit? Like, we're a company. What? Because it's funny, the V&A, yeah, Victoria and Albert Museum, they were on my case, innit, about coming on board, and not on my case, but they emailed us saying, oh, can you come on board as a supplier, yeah? So I was like, cool, no problem. Obviously, we're an AV supplier. Only 4 companies can work in Natural History Museum next door in the whole country, yeah? And we're one of the companies that can execute jobs there, yeah? We do jobs for L'Oreal, British Airways, bloody, you name it, law firms, this, that. We've done huge jobs there, yeah? Like massive corporate events for big companies, yeah? And they emailed me saying, oh, we'd love to make you an AV supplier for our Indian weddings. And I said, okay. I said, my moving heads and my screens and my sound don't only just work at Indian weddings. Why would you think that you would only put me in as an Indian wedding supplier, where I'm a full AV supplier at the Natural History Museum? I took it to offense. And I don't think she meant to offend me, but I was like, what? I'm just a bud ding ding to you. Like, but it's our own fault to a degree, because we do that to ourselves, yeah, and we think that, oh, you know, we're not a proper Gorde company.
It's that professionalization of the industry. One or two would do it. What it takes is one idiot, and it's all over again.
Yeah, 100%. Look at this now, yeah. There's a venue in Midlands that now is such a popular venue. You have to pay £3,000 to put trusses up in the ceiling now. Why? Because the Asian wedding suppliers abused it. They abused it, didn't do the jobs properly, didn't execute, and now who's suffering? The customer suffers the extra $3,000, and now you might suffer yourself because you outpriced that service to the customer. So they might not buy your lighting from you now. That's our own fault. So,
sometimes.
But anyway, let's end on the negative.
Okay, here we go. Here's the last question, which I
thought it'd be more controversial than this. You know that? You've been quite
mean?
Easy. I thought, yeah, man. I thought I was going to go away and have to phone you after and say, bro, you know, don't put that in.
No. Look, my job is this. Yeah. My job is this. My job is to kind of ask the questions and it's for up to the guest to answer any way they choose to.
Say that again, bro.
I said my job is to kind of ask the questions,
Yeah.
and it's up to the guest to answer it any way they choose to.
Yeah. No, come on.
Because anyone who's kind of been a Billy bullshitter before, they've been spotted out anyway. Do you know what I mean? But that hasn't happened in this case, so don't worry about that. So here we go, Jas. You ready for this? So this is called the Bhandwagon, and it's a play on my surname. Is there a bandwagon that you either want to jump on, jump off, or if there isn't, is there anything that you want to get off your chest? This is your space to do so.
So you said it cut out there. Say that again.
So this is the bandwagon. Is there a bandwagon that you want to jump on, or you want to jump off, or is there anything that you want to get off your chest? This is your space to do so.
Bandwagon to jump on, jump off. I think we've always created the bandwagon, so everyone's always jumped on ours. And I don't mind that. I honestly don't mind that. The minute I'm jumping on someone else's bandwagon, then I say, look, then we're not the market leaders anymore.
Wow.
But
you have jumped on mine, so.
Bro, you've been begging me. So I'll show the text messages. You've been begging me to come on this show.
I have.
1 minute. I want to see. Yeah, you go.
I've been asking.
Let me just see what you messaged me. Yeah, you go.
I want you to pull out the first one.
You and I will be wearing red panties. Just make sure you log on.
Yeah, that's it,
bro. That's the only reason I came today.
Yeah, that's it. But there is a point in terms of saying where I wanted to set the scene, because what's interesting is sometimes when you do this, how people refer to other people in terms of where innovation happened or there's a story linked to it. And then when you're trying to pull it all together, I need this person to sell the story for the next person. So that's why sometimes when I plan things out, I plan it kind of a route. So at the moment, I'm trying to do a road to Diljit for my 100th episode.
Road to Diljit?
Yeah.
I shall phone him right now. 1 minute.
Bro, Wax just done the same. So I've absolutely no expectation that he's even going to look at this. Yeah, I've heard that he actually has seen the what I do, but he's not going to turn up. All I'm after is even a like or an acknowledgement. So,
dude, come on, bro.
Small mercies, isn't it?
You know what I mean? You should change this to Bandela.
What, like Coachella kind of stuff?
Yeah. Then he might come, bro. You never know. And
I did in the episode that's come out today. I asked GPT about what questions I could ask Diljit, and I've got like 10 that it's given me. So I'm ready. I've got like I'm good to go, man. Good man. I'm gonna kill it.
Well, listen, it was a pleasure. I'm gonna go home now because it's like 10:40.
That's it. Energy.
Energy. Hey.
Cheers. All the best.
Oh, bro, respect, man. Cool. Bye.